All right. Any visitors that we want to let in or are present that wish to? Hi, Nina.
No. No visitors.
Okay. Do we have Susan yet?
No.
Okay, so now we have everybody but Jeff and Susan. So we have 1, 2, 3.
I'm letting Erin Rocheleau in right now. She may be a visitor.
So we have 8 people representing 75 votes. Erin, are you in here? I don't see.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. So we're up to the visitor section of our agenda. Did you have anything that you wanted to comment on as a visitor?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on the agenda. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Does anyone have any issues with the 3 items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, we can accept the consent agenda as presented. All right, moving on, we're on agenda item number 6, old business. And the first item on the agenda is the COVID-19 update on school reopening. And I'm going to turn that over to Superintendent Dearth.
Thanks, Lily. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to start out with a little concerning news and then go to the positives. We did find out later today that we do have a second case at City that we're on and dealing with. Department of Health is on it. On the other hand, the first case that you knew about from a few weeks ago, all of the people who had been contact tracing and was involved with that person as of yesterday or the day before, all their testing came back negative for the schools. But we do have an additional one today, and we're starting on that. So we've got the protocols in place. We're moving forward with it. Joan is not here today because she's actually working with the Department of Health tonight to get the process going. And I'll keep you informed. So
thanks.
Moving on with that, some of this is going to be just continuation of what we've talked about for future weeks, but after talking to all the principals, we're finding that students are continuing to learn in this new environment. We're continuing to bring people back. And so far, bringing them back has worked quite nicely, been quite smooth. The one issue that I've heard, especially Angela's talked to me about it, is that because so few students now are taking buses and coming in with their parents or other cars, we have a good, nice long line on Route 7 that happens in the morning and in the afternoon. And as we keep bringing more kids in, we're going to continue to have those problems. But I know Angela and Jason are on that and have made some tweaking to make this work. But it's an inevitable problem when they're not taking the buses throughout. Personally, I would say that if that turns out to be our biggest problem, that things are going pretty well. But I'm sure Angela and Jason don't think about that at 3:15 in the afternoon. In addition, we did get information yesterday on sports throughout the state. As I predicted, sports will be going forwards. Just about every sport. I don't believe wrestling. Wrestling is off the list, but every other sport, including indoor sports, basketball, hockey, as well as the outdoor sports that one might expect, will all be occurring. They'll be occurring much differently, as was true with our fall sports. And we're just getting our heads around what that will look like. Certainly there'll be masking, there'll be other strict protocols. And I think they learned a lot from the Montpelier cases that occurred that's still happening down there. But it will be going on. And that's actually district-wide or statewide. It's not just at the high school level. And I haven't had a chance yet to talk to our principals to see exactly where they are with that, but we will tomorrow. The last thing I would have to say, then I'll open it up to questions. Just looking at you here reminds me of two relatively good things that come out of this pandemic, if anything could. One would be the fact that we have a person in Tennessee this moment and another one down in Florida, and yet they can still come to our, excuse me, board meetings. I believe, Steve, you're still in Florida, right?
No, I got back. I'm quarantining.
Oh, okay. So you're
COVID test Friday will have me back.
Okay. And Nelda's down in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The
I'll be
second,
quarantining when I get back too, because I'm in COVID hell here. Definitely.
the second thing that you already know, and we've talked a little bit about it, but we have decided we're going to go forward playing it by ear relative to snow days. Thankfully, this week didn't turn out to be a very big issue, but we are going to at least have it on as our options for snow days. Sean O'Dell hates this because he likes his snow days, but otherwise, we're going to attempt it if we have the opportunity for preparation. So as I think I'd mentioned before, if we know the day before that a big storm's coming in, typically I would wait until 5 in the morning to make the calls so I don't get stuck with the sun coming out accidentally. But in this case, if we do, it looks like there's going to be a big storm, we have the opportunity to say ahead of time it'll be a remote day. And that way we can continue to have a school day, kids will continue to learn, and they won't have to go until July. If, on the other hand, we get a freak storm late at night and really preparation hasn't been able to occur for the teachers or the students, then it will most probably be a regular snow day, inclement day. We're working out the details. As you might imagine, there are all sorts of little things that happen that have to take place for a snow day to occur. For instance, we have to get WCAX and WPTZ to do something with their board in the morning because they don't have anything in there right now that you could put in that says remote day. So we're working out of all those things statewide, but other than those little details, it looks like it can and will happen. Other questions for me?
No questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm not, Kevin, I don't know if I just didn't hear it, but is the thought right now that the first COVID case and the second COVID case at City are linked, or is the second one just a completely different contraction?
You didn't hear it, and that was actually the first question I asked, and they're totally separate.
No link.
They're totally separate. Okay, thank you very much.
Right. Thank you. Kevin, I know you're probably not prepared for this, but I thought I read somewhere also that there might be a change that happened with health insurance.
Health insurance or possibly the HSAs of the health.
Yeah, HSA.
It's the HSA?
Yeah.
part?
There are changes there.
Okay.
Uh,
We don't have to go there yet.
Yeah, it's a different item. We'd be very glad to put it on the agenda for you.
Yeah.
talk about. I'm sure that Martha is probably up to her ears in that, so.
Okay, we can put it on, if we could put it on the agenda for the next meeting, that would be good. Because I saw it in passing, and to be honest, I didn't read the detail.
Yep.
Okay, so that was the COVID-19 update. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the C12 Title IX Sexual Harassment Policy. Last meeting, we made a motion to move this forward for approval. So now we need to seek approval. Someone say something? So it's your attachment 6B. This is a mandatory policy. We don't really have a whole lot of options. So I would like a motion to approve, adopt this policy, and then we can have some discussion.
So moved.
Thanks, Al.
Second.
Thanks, Joanna. Any discussion related to this policy? Anything anyone needs to add? Bill, Kevin, anyone?
I'm willing to answer any questions, Nilda, but we talked about it last time.
That's
And
right,
as
yeah.
you said, it's mandatory that we take it as it is.
We ready to take a vote? Okay, all in favor of the motion to approve or adopt, whatever the right term is, this policy, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries 7.5 to nothing. 7.50 and 0. All right. Next item on the agenda is the SRO subcommittee recommendation. It's your new attachment 6C, not the attachment that came in your original packet. And are you the author, Joanna, of this?
Yes. Yes.
So I know that I missed some of last meeting, but I know that we had made modifications to the original proposal that discussed dates and timeframes. And we have a new proposal that is actually the application. And
Well, there's two. There's the charge and there's the application.
okay,
So what was submitted late today was the charge and the timeline and whatnot. And I highlighted everything that was modified. It really shouldn't be anything concerning. It was everything that we had already discussed.
okay. Do you have it in front of you?
I'm looking for it right. Hold on a second.
I think I can bring it up, but I've got so many devices going right now. I don't know if I
Yeah, I'm doing it too.
I just want to get it on the record for the minutes.
Yep. Sorry. Not that one. Yep, I've got it. All right, so you want me
Okay.
just to read it?
Yeah, can you just read the changes, please?
Sure. Okay, so where it talks about the makeup of the SRO study committee, we changed it from 3 students, 4 parents, 4 community staff, and 4 staff to 3 parents, 3 students, 3 community members, and 3 staff. The timeline for the study committee applications and final recommendations, we changed it from December, we were, or November, excuse me, of trying to actually select members and trying to start too quickly. We said members will need to apply to the board by December 16th. So I put that as our second December meeting, and then with the goal of convening after January 1st. I didn't say what day in January, but just once the members have been selected, then we can, after January, make a day to convene for the group. And that is per discretion of the committee. Final recommendations will be made by the committee to the board. The timeline will be fluid and at the discretion of the study committee.
That's good. That covers, I think, a lot of the concerns that Jeff had related
Yes.
to a tight timeline and not wanting to
sure.
lock us in with everything else that we have going on. Does anyone have any
Absolutely.
questions related to the SRO subcommittee charter or recommendation plan?
That they be approved as amended.
Okay.
Oh,
If I
Steve
could.
has his hand up.
if I could, in my absence, I really want to extend a hearty thank you to Joanna for carrying this, and to the board for providing input. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Steve.
you.
Steve was super helpful, even from Florida.
Well, I appreciate everyone, all the work that went into that. So we have a motion from Al to approve the revised recommendation. Do we have a second?
Second,
Who is that?
second,
Thanks, Steve. Any further discussion related to this? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? All in favor, motion carries 7.500. Okay, next item on the agenda is the superintendent search update. So Kevin, did you figure out which one of those rules work?
Actually, Nilda,
Joanna has her
can I
hand up,
just,
Nilda.
Yes, ma'am.
can I just interrupt? I'm sorry to interrupt. My one question, and forgive me if I should have said this at the beginning. We were also going to talk about the facilitator.
Oh, yes.
That should be
correct.
part of this discussion.
Yes. It's
That was
not
sent
really
out
on the
last
agenda.
time.
It's not on the agenda, but it's definitely implied in the whole process.
Yeah,
that we
sorry.
facilitated. So let's backtrack just for a second.
Thank you.
Everybody's in agreement, right, that we need a facilitator for this meeting?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we do have the name of a facilitator that Joanna provided.
Yes.
And
the
I think I
proposal.
saw an email from Jeff suggesting that we sign her up for 2 or 3 sessions and then add her on for more if we needed that. Was that the case?
I saw five sessions and then add her on after that if we should need.
There's a lot of email traffic today.
Hilda?
Yes, sir.
Not that I don't think she's a good choice, but I do think we should address the fact that the board is a nonpartisan body. This, I think, could be seen as a partisan issue. And the facilitator we've chosen, I believe, is a state house representative that's a Democrat. And so I think we should make that known if that's all true. And take whatever precautions we need to ensure that this is a nonpartisan choice, and that how moving forward, politics don't come into play.
Yeah. Who originally sent us the email with her name? Was that you, Joanna?
Yes, I'm looking. I don't think she's currently
I don't know for sure.
Well, let's look it up.
She ran as
That's a good point, Grant. I mean, I don't think our intention is to be partisan at all.
Yeah, no, I didn't think she was a current.
But if she is currently, that might be an issue. If she's previous, maybe.
So
But
her website says Chittenden 6-2, and if I look up the election results, I think
She was a city council member.
Maybe this says state representative Chittenden 6-2, Emma Mulvaney Stanek appears to have won that race, although.
Oh, like yesterday?
Potentially, yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh.
But that would need to be confirmed, because I'm not sure I'm reading everything correctly.
First off, that should have nothing to do with the fact that we are hiring her for a specific thing. It has nothing to do with whether she is on the council or a member of either party or any party. She's facilitating issue that we're doing. Has nothing to do with one or the other.
I don't disagree.
My point out was that it could be perceived that way, and that we should address that perception.
Right, I agree. I agree with you, Al, that has nothing to do with it. When we can all believe that and see that, but external parties might think differently. So I think if we choose her, we just need to disclose that that's who she is, and then move on. And if we were to see any partisan aspect to her facilitating, I guess we'd cut the cord on it, I suppose.
I have talked about, I have definitely looked into a facilitator for a while now. And I think I agree with you, Grant. I like how Nilda's saying it. She's saying more so that we would just need to disclose that. I would say that this is such a hot topic that it's going to be very difficult to find somebody who doesn't have an opinion, about this either way. But I was as careful as I possibly could be when selecting and receiving referrals and recommendations from people. I wanted to find somebody who was aware of our community, knowledgeable of our state and our community, but not somebody who is completely invested in our community. So that was the reasoning behind going elsewhere. I did not know that she was running for that. I guess I also agree with what Al is saying. And she has, she's worked for the NEA, she's worked for UVM, she's worked for different political outfits. And I just thought that she was as good of a choice as I could find right now, who's not currently invested in COVID. I really wanted to go with Paul Costello at first, but he's working with the state and just totally tied up right now.
Understand that this is not a partisan issue, so there's no perception. It's not a partisan issue.
Hilda,
Yes.
I checked with people I know, like my wife, and was told that this person is a very good facilitator. And I think Joanna's done a good job choosing a person like this. I would support it myself.
So
I think perceptions are important. So I respect with what Grant's saying for sure.
yeah. Al, I agree with you that this isn't a partisan issue. I think that some people think it is. I mean, just based on some of the commentary we got at a couple of those meetings, I think people can make this about just about anything they want, right? Because it's all about what your bias is.
They have their perceptions on who's who and what's what, but it has nothing to do with whether
right
party line.
I think it's a good CYA for us, though, to definitely address it with our eyes wide open and just say, we recognize this and not an issue, just even if it's part of her bio when she's introduced to everyone, that.
So,
you choose
I know that what I'm finding is Grant, as a new board member, he asks great questions, and I think his point of view is very good. But my thoughts on it is that a facilitator isn't normally a decision maker.
No.
More or less brings the group together, listens to all sides, and the ultimate decision maker of this issue is us.
Right.
Not the facilitator. So I wouldn't worry about that kind of thing.
They do try to help build consensus, though, when there's issues. So,
yeah, I mean, their point of view could sway, but a good facilitator shouldn't do that. And this person is known to be a good facilitator. So I think it's something we should be aware of and be upfront about, but not worrisome about it, is my feeling. Thank you.
I'm going to start coughing now.
Okay. Nilda, I just had it. So the facilitator, how much is she charging to do this?
Who's got that figure?
I do. It was sent to us last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more of getting it on the record, I guess.
Can you tell me what it is? I can't.
Yeah, I gotta get right to it. Hold on a second.
I have it in front of me, Joanna. It's
Oh, thank you.
$125 an hour.
Say that again, please.
It's her nonprofit hourly rate is $125 an hour.
Okay.
And then I believe is what Jeff is suggesting is that for more than one day, she charges, she has a flat fee structure. So she would be charging us for those 5 meetings as a whole. And then if we needed her beyond that, that's what Jeff was proposing, I think, but it would be at that 125 an hour. And then when you do the flat fee, it results in a 10% reduction of that fee. So the option 1 that we would be voting on, I believe, is the $4,500 one.
4,500? No.
Mhm.
125 an hour?
Yep, and then she mapped out. She mapped out those hours.
So it's
40, it'd be 40 hours of work is what, right? I mean, I'm looking from the bid that she sent.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I.
So
Mhm.
she's
So-
estimating that for each meeting, there'd be 2 hours of planning and 2 hours of facilitation. So total meeting time for the 5 meetings is 20 hours.
Okay.
And then there's 10 hours for research support and recommendation. And then active facilitation time and 0.5 hours of tech setup time, which is the additional 10 hours.
Boy, I don't remember seeing that. That came
Yep.
from whom?
It came in our last one. Brenda sent it to us during the last meeting.
I got it in an email on October 26th.
Thank you. Well, I mean, that's her rate. I don't think it's unusual, right? It's kind of,
No, it's not.
There's a higher option, but I think that's the idea, was the start with the lower and then see where our needs are.
Mhm.
right.
And, you know, she put that time in for consultation and whatnot. And that was, it's also just how the study committee decides how they want to utilize the facilitator. So yes, the facilitator is not a deciding body, but they can be helpful as a guide in terms of accessing data or accessing, you know, information and supporting the committee to you know, to figure out where to go to get information.
Sounds good. Any opposition to continuing on with this person as a facilitator with the current information and fee structure?
I move that we take, that we approval of the 5 meeting option with the option to continue after that if we need it.
Thanks, Al. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second that.
I just, for discussion, Nilda, Martha, can I just check in with you? I know that's not a large amount, but do we have the room in the budget for something like that with the extra expense?
Yeah, Alicia was gonna, just
Yeah.
gonna,
Yes, there's always, there's a Board of Education purchase service line item, and there is funds available. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We
Thanks,
don't,
Martha.
actually, we don't use it that often, so
Yep.
good.
So-
We'll probably use it quite a bit this time. All right,
Joanna,
so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I had a quick, oh, go ahead, Kevin. You were before me.
Joanna, I'm assuming if this passes, everything goes through, you will be communicating with her. We
Yeah.
should then make sure that we work with a contact with the office so we can go through the contract and sign the contracts and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if we
that was my-
approve it,
that was my
I can either be a liaison or I can just send contact information over to whomever you'd like it to go to, whichever you choose.
That's probably the best way, Joanna, is to just once you contact her, just turn it over to the central office and
Great, I
let
can
them
do that
manage it from there.
for sure.
Sounds good.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we have a
Thank you.
motion and a second. Nina, did you have something?
No, I was just gonna ask the same question Kevin did. How, Al did.
Anyone else?
Just one
Grant?
comment. Yeah. So I think it's good we've stated this is a nonpartisan issue. I think it should be acknowledged that on Ms. Mulvaney Stanek's website, one of her stated objectives is to defund and redesign funding rationale for state police, correction departments, to critically examine institutions that continue to harm and discriminate against people of color, looking to reinvest public dollars to services needed in communities, including hiring of social workers, investment, affordable housing, and education. I think that runs very close to what we're doing. I don't think it perfectly parallels, and so I think we're good. But I do think we need to kind of acknowledge that potential for conflict of interest exists. And I do think that as a board, knowing that it exists, we'll be able to do what we need to do. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure that we were all aware and just knew it was something to keep an eye on.
Yep. No, very good points. Thank you. Anyone else?
I did not know that.
All right.
Thanks, Grant.
Are we ready to vote on this? Does anyone feel we need to do more research or anything?
Call the question.
All in favor, signify by saying
Aye.
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 opposed. Abstentions. Motion carries 7.5 to 0 and 0. All right. Kevin, did you have time to figure out which one of my findings I need?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the next item on the agenda is a superintendent search update. And I believe that we can have a finding that in order to do this, if we were to do this in public session, it would put either the board or applicants in some sort of jeopardy. I use air quotes for that word, jeopardy. So if we have that finding, then we can go make a motion to go into executive session under VSA
1 VSA subsection 313A3. And that is the appointment or evaluation of a public office or employee, and the public body must make a final decision to appoint in open meeting after the executive session.
Thank you. So we can we have that motion to go in to move this to executive session for those reasons stated?
So moved.
Second, somewhere?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposition? Any abstention? Motion carries 7500. All right. So the next item is a new business item, Collins Pearly Sports Complex HVAC work. It's attachment 7A. It's a huge attachment, 7A. I am going to turn this over to, I think Bill is prepared to discuss this. Is that right?
Both Bill and Tim probably have something to say, but let's start with Bill.
Yeah, this is a team effort. Thank you, Nilda.
Okay. Thank you.
We, as many of you are aware, it was in tonight's consent agenda, have been awarded through Efficiency Vermont grants to work on our HVAC system at SATEC, Fairfield, and Collins Pearly. Here at Collins Pearly, we had a partial funding. So we wanted to start a discussion tonight to seek approval at our next meeting here in November to get the full installation of the project through use of the capital funds for a total of $42,826. Am I right, Tim? Do I have the right number there?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. And Tim can give you all the details of what we're doing. It's something that we put in grant, as you all are aware, with the COVID relief funds, there were money put into school systems for HVAC systems for doing upgrades. So Tim, can you tell us a little bit about the upgrades at Collins Pearly?
Yeah, this is something that we've needed to do for years up here. Nilla, you've been up here at night. You know how cold it is because we've always shut our HV handlers off at night to save electricity or the rink running, which we just can't do that anymore, obviously. So this is an update and expansion of the HV control systems proposed by Temperature Controls of Vermont. And what it'll do, it'll allow us to easily and efficiently control our HV units, our exhaust fans. We have louvers go to a hot graduation in the tennis courts, and those big louvers that are always look like they're welded shut on the north wall. Those work, but I've only seen them work once since I've been here. So this project will take care of all that stuff. It'll save us power. It'll save us something like over $16,000 a year at current rate. My October bill is over $14,000 because right now we're running all our HV units while anybody's in the building, and we need to run it that way for COVID. And it kicks on an hour before anybody comes into the building in the morning. So it's expensive. This is going to cut us down. This is going to frequency drive on the motors. It'll save us money there. It's just a project we need to get done up here, and we have for a long time. And this is time to do it.
Great. We have any questions for Tim, Bill? No questions.
Well,
Nilda,
I'll ask that question
can I-
again. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead.
We have the money in the capital for this, Martha.
Yes, after we've funded the Fairfield project, we still are carrying a surplus of a little over $2 million, not counting any surplus that will be coming in after we finish our audit for FY20. So
You need more than 42, Martha.
you get only 42,000.
And if I would add, Alicia, as you ask, we haven't counted all the pennies and dimes yet with the Fairfield project. We're probably out a couple of months from giving that report back to the board. But so far, we will be below budget probably by at least that amount. So
The 40.
we're doing pretty well. The 42,000.
Another thing, sorry, Bill.
No, go ahead.
Another
Tim.
thing, the reason the whole project is not funded by this grant is because we could not have it completed by the end of December, and that was the completion date. So what we can do is get part of it, materials on order. We can have the design done, the control programming, the graphics, all that can be done, invoiced, and get paid for. And then after the first year, when people are available to do the installation, we can do that then. But that's what I need to get covered.
Yeah. And the other thing I should have said at the beginning is a huge shout out to Derek Madden. He's not with us tonight, but without Derek's leadership and help and working with expertise and working with TCV and Efficiency Vermont, who's worked with in the past, both groups, we wouldn't have been awarded any of these 3 grants. So Derek,
As I said, he's a smart kid.
yeah, I think he is.
Great.
I think he is.
Great. Okay, so I guess I need a motion to approve the use of capital funds at Collins Pearly for the matching portion of the grant above the grant that we talked about in the amount of $42,826.
So move.
There's a second?
Second,
Who was that?
Grant.
Grant, thank you. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions, motion carries 7.5 to 0 and 0. All right, next item on the agenda is the warrants. I need a motion to approve the warrants, acknowledging that passage of this motion will act as an individual board member's authorization of their signature on these warrants.
So moved.
I can always count on you, Al. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of approving the warrants, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, abstentions, motion carries. Thank you. Kevin, any additional information for your superintendent's report?
Nothing more, Nilda.
Okay, and you'll send us an email with any additional information related to the positive if you have to?
When we learn more, certainly.
Yep, thank you.
What
Okay,
about,
what's that?
did you want to ask about the healthcare?
I was gonna ask about, I was gonna put that in the items for future agenda.
That's fine.
I've already got it for next board meeting.
Great.
Board announcements. Alicia. Joanna. Al. Grant. Steve. Jack. Nina.
I had a-
Nilda.
I had a question.
Sure.
I don't know. Is there an update on the BFA construction?
Can we put
that-
that on the agenda for the next meeting?
We
You
can.
missed
or-
it last time.
We did
Okay.
it last time. Bill, Bill and company, can we put it on the agenda for the next meeting?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Thank you.
Okay,
Well,
so.
Hopefully I have
agenda
some great pictures for you.
Yeah. Agenda items for the next meeting is the insurance update, the not Collins, probably the BFA connector update. And what else did we say? We didn't say.
I'm sure there'll be more superintendent search information.
Okay.
I have a question. Could we also just get an update for this year's, seniors in terms of proficiency-based grading or transcripts, or just how things are going in the guidance department and whatnot, and just an overview?
Sure. I saw the principal here. He was here just a little while ago. We can ask for that information, right?
Go here.
Thank you. We can get that on the agenda for the next meeting for an update.
Yes.
That works. If you need more time, then it would probably needs to be at least on the following agenda if it's not on the second meeting of the month. I don't know how long it takes to prep for that. All right, we have, let's see. I think we need a motion to go into executive session, please. And I think I need in that executive session, the board and Kevin. Is that right?
Yep.
So moved.
Thank you, Al.
Second.
Thank you, whoever that was. I think it was Joanna. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, we're going to go into executive session.